Even as little children, we instinctively know that if we go underwater, we have to hold our breath so we won't drown. Many years ago now, some of my priest buddies and I got certified to be scuba divers in somebody's backyard pool. Now, one of the wonders of scuba diving is that you can breathe underwater. With the air tank, even underwater, I could breathe. And a whole new world opened up for me. Now, I've always been someone who loved and loves nature. So now this whole different set of marvels was in front of me. And I would just get lost in it, drinking it all in. Now, I also had to learn to be careful, even though they told us to. Before we were yet certified, early on, one day we were about 50 feet underwater and making our way, and I saw this beautiful little shell tangled up, and I was trying to just look at it very carefully. You don't want to hurt anything. And as I was making my way, I didn't notice that the other guys had made their way back up and gone to the boat. And as I was there, I took a big breath in, and suddenly, this is what happened. I had no more air. I looked around, I couldn't see them. I didn't know where I was or where the boat was. It was a bad moment. Now, I had been trained well enough to know that I could not ascend quickly or that could kill me. So I held my breath, slowly made my way up, yearning to breathe, and finally I broke through the surface and breathed almost as if I hadn't ever breathed before. And there was the boat not quite that far away. I would suggest that life is like that for all of us sometimes. You know, we have our days, we make our way just fine, taking in the mixture of the messes and marvels of our daily lives. But just like I hadn't been checking my air gauge to make sure I had enough air in my tank, sometimes as we make our way, we don't realize that we are running out of air. I'll suggest these are the three main ways that happens for us. 1, daily we breathe in suggestions, values, advertisements, whatever, that suggest that what really matters, if you want to be happy, you need more stuff, more vacations, more power, more prestige, more money. That's like drinking in water. Or we're told that it's okay to hate people, that they're the enemy, those people, so we can vilify them, dehumanize them. Or that we just got to look out for number 1 because they don't matter. My brothers and sisters, there is no air there. That kills our souls. The second way I think we run out of air is that at least it feels like someone else is cutting off our air supply. When people treat us poorly because of how we look, shame us or abandon us for our orientation, the color of our skin, or any disability, or for any reason, it feels like they're choking off our air supply and we can't breathe sometimes. Or thirdly, sometimes it is the struggles and heartaches of life that seem to sweep over us like waves and drag us under. When we lose a loved one to death or separation or know some other great heartache, we struggle desperately to keep our heads above water, but we feel that we will drown with our losses. What Easter tells us is that no matter the circumstances of our lives, you and I can always take a resurrection breath and breathe in life again. We can learn to breathe in the risen Christ. We can breathe the underwater. Now, I know that a resurrection breath doesn't suddenly make everything okay, right? But it does allow us to take in the beautiful power of risen Christ, which is in us and more than us. It allows us to breathe in life where we feel that we are underwater, whatever the situation of our lives. You know, this is the power of Easter. And you'll notice that none of the Easter scriptures prove that Jesus was raised from the dead. What we see is countless stories of men and women, children who have met the risen Lord somehow, taken in a resurrection breath, and whose lives are changed forever. Personally, I'm so blessed to see that all the time. I'll give you 3 ways I see that. 1, I'm so grateful when I see you who remember what really matters in life, right? And who breathe in values that last, and who then share your air with others. 2, you who remain true when others try to cut off your air by their meanness or cruelty. Yet somehow, you continue to breathe love into this world. I know it's not easy, but it's beautiful, and you do it. And 3, all of you who find a way, of course, over time and with the help of others, to keep breathing when the waves of grief and loss overwhelm you, and who then eventually share the life-giving air you've learned in suffering when others feel that they are underwater in their grief. Last night, in addition to the other 13 adults who were confirmed and made First Communion and joined us in the Catholic faith, 7 grown-ups went all the way underwater here. Watch it on our YouTube channel. It's just stunning. And underwater, you can't breathe. Except that they rose with Christ. And now know that anywhere they could go in their lives, they can take in a resurrection breath and breathe in the risen Christ, as can we. Because it's true for us. In the midst of loneliness or emptiness, discouragement, anxiety, despair, we can breathe in love because we're not alone. The one who is all the love in the world is with us always. In the midst of sinfulness or patterns of sin or shame, we can breathe in the grace to begin again. We can always breathe in the grace to begin again. Always. And thirdly, in the midst of grief, we can breathe in the promise of a life beyond this life, and that love is forever. We can breathe underwater. Now, I haven't scuba dived the last few years, but after that one incident, you can imagine that I learned to be very careful, make sure I watch my gauge and monitor my air. And what's such a blessing is that when you learn to trust the air and that you can breathe underwater, a whole new world of beauty and wonders opens up that I never knew existed. My friends, it's nothing compared to the air we can breathe here. On this Easter day, we take in a resurrection breath and learn that as we make our way through our days, you and I can indeed breathe underwater.